The way of reaching a level of moral purity. Right? The level of purity is easy. It's easy. Did you hear that? It's the first time that he says it's easy. Every time he says, super hard. Only to a person that was already reached the previous midot. If you've acquired all the others, to get the purity of mind and thought is easy.
Good.
So now you say, oh, wait a second. So what were the other ones that we're supposed to get? Because maybe I don't have them yet.
Yeah.
So we have the midat zirut. Midat zirut is this idea of carefulness, that we don't act unless we evaluate. Is this the right thing to do? Is this according to halacha? And then once we act, we ask ourselves, did we do it the right way? That is, we're careful before we act, and after we act, we evaluate it. Zrizut, when we decide to act of doing a positive mitzvah, we do it, and we complete it, and we do it the best way we could. Then he talked about midat nikiyut, right? Which have a sense of cleanliness. That is, that we remove the desires. Prishut was, remember, that we withdraw in areas where the Torah allows us to act. Right? The Torah says you could have kosher wine, you could have relations with your wife, you could eat kosher food. We create boundaries within the boundaries that the Torah gave us to reach a higher level. And after Prishut, he says you should get to the level of Tahara, which is even higher. If you have all these other four, the fifth one is fairly easy. It's fairly easy. Now you wonder, okay, so let's assume I got those four. Now what? Tell me, what do I need to do? So he says very simple. He says, כי הנה כשיחשוב ויתבונן על פחיתות תענוגי העולם וטובותיו, ימאס בהם ולא יחשבם אלא לרעות וחסרונות הטבע החומרי. He says when he thinks about and contemplates about the lowliness of those worldly pleasures, all the things that we can have in this world and enjoy them, and he understands how that would only harm him, he yim'as b'hem. He would hate them, would want to get rid of them, and would only think of them as something bad and something lacking in his physical nature. And once he really understands that, it becomes very easy for him to stay away from them. Okay? So what is he telling you? He's telling us a very interesting idea. That we see this in several chapters, we saw this. He's bringing this idea over and over and over. If we are able to look at the physical pleasures and see what negative effects they have on us, we can develop an ability to control our desires. When you tell somebody, when you do this, you will get a lot of honor, and he understands that honor is really going to only harm him, because when he has honor and he's seeking honor, he will start having what? Jealousy against other people. He will expect people to treat him in a certain way. He will get angry when people don't treat him in a certain way. He will be arrogant. And by understanding the implications of that, he will not seek honor. Because he'll know what it means. He knows this will happen and this will happen and this will happen. I don't want it. I don't want it. Right? So the idea is, if you really understand all the things that are coming in when you are performing a mitzvah, that you're doing it for honor, that you're doing it for fun, that you're doing it for the physical pleasure, for whatever it is, and you really think about the implications of that. Like, you'll want to get married, right? Why would you get married? Because it's a mitzvah in the Torah, right? It's a mitzvah in the Torah. God said I have to get married, so I'm getting married. So he says the more you think about the implication, that the more you're ma'amik, that you get deep, you think deeply about the negative consequences of these things, it'll be easier for you to purify your thoughts and your heart, so that you will not follow the Yetzer at all with any of the physical actions. And then he says there are two parts of Taharat HaMachshava, the purity of thought. There are two types. One is with regard to Maisim Gufanim, physical acts, and the other is Maise Avoda, which is service of God. And they're different. So he says, in order to purify our minds with regard to physical acts, then we look at how this world really is low, and the spiritual world is much, much greater than this, and so on. But with regard to purify the mind, the thoughts, with regard to service of Hashem, we should look at Tarmit HaKavod V'Kezavav Ve'argil Atzmo Livroach Mimeno. He says, pay attention when you serve, when you perform a mitzvah, of the lie, of the Tarmit. Tarmit is a very good word. It's even more than a lie. It's I can't think of a good English word for now, but it's can't think of it. It will come to me as soon as we're done. The lie or the trickery of seeking honor, which I talked about before, that is the clue, the key to developing purity of thought with regard to doing a mitzvah. But you say, Matan, wow, you know, now you're learning kol hakavod, and now you feel like, yeah, you got a pat on the back. And pats on the back are important. They're very important. It helps all of us. But it should never be the motivation of doing what we're doing. That's not why we should be doing it. We should be doing it even if we get no motivation. Even when your Rabbi tells you, stop asking questions. You're giving all, you're answering all the wrong questions, or you're asking all the right questions. Whatever it is, the point is that we're not doing it in order to get something out of it. We're doing it because we want to perform the mitzvah for Hashem.